Kahal Yahweh, Bashem Yahushua, Bashem Rakah Kadash, and the ones to the apostles and elders, great millstone. And peace said, touch that I am doing this work in true sincerity in the four corners of the earth. All right. I just want to do this quick current event lesson. All right. Going into the Supreme Court. All right. And Donald T. All right. Nero. You know, his his gripe. All right. With the so-called illegal immigrants. All right. Which mainly consists of you Jakes. All right. You Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, man. You know, that's who they are specifically targeting, all right, with the ice raids and shit. You know, every once in a while they might get some Moabites in there. You know, they might get some Elamites, all right, in there. All right. But for the most part they target, you know, mainly Northern Kingdom, you know, and Southern Kingdom. All right. Because you Levites, all right, and I believe it's like 340,000 of you, you know. Now Esau's about to be coming after you. Levi is not, you know, quick to jump on a plane, you know, and go back to Haiti, man. Because in Haiti you got niggas, you know, ninjas, you know, like barbecue out there, man. You know, nigga named barbecue, man. And IUIC talk to that dude. It's insane, man. You know, it shows how small the world is, you know, especially when you're dealing with the men of the Lord, you know, because we are truly, you know, the those hopefully elect, you know, those are the chosen of the most high power, man. You know, so we are the true characters in this story, you know. You other people are just background, you know, the elites background, you know, which they play a part, but they in the background, man. Okay. Hey, they're not the elect, they're not the 144,000, man. You know? So things just happen, you know, they pop up like that. Just like what was it, HOI, they got caught up in that situation, you know, with Gag going back and forth with Esau, man. You know, and that shit just you know, Jake out of line, cause Jake be always trying to be in public and be seen and shit, you know, but it just so happened to be, you know, through the spirit, man. You know, it was even to the point to where even though HOI was saying you know, explosive things, all right, to the Edomites, which, you know, to Esau, that's everything they want right there. Look at these guys are being racist. Look, I told you we had black racists and shit. You know, the whole situation blew up, but then it pretty much just like Esau was attacking Gad and shit. You know, they mentioned the Jakes that was out there from HOI, but they were still, you know, mainly targeting Gad, man. You know, will show you that Esau is the damn devil, man. You know, the absolute devil. But that situation didn't blow up, you know, to how high, you know, it could have, man, because the Most High is preserving us, you know. The Most High is making it to where, you know, this truth ain't just exploding, you know, on the scene like that, you know, as far as mainstream media, okay? Because then the persecution is bound to come, you know. So the Most High let a little bit trickle out, you know, here and there, you know, but not to the point to where they ready to bring us down to the councils, you know, and to the judges and shit, man. You know, you got to just see that, you know, and read that through the spirit, man. You know, the U.S. president has blasted the decision as too bad and vowed to work around it through new legislation. Legislation. So the ad say the article says Supreme Court strikes down Trump's birthright citizenship order, man. You know, and this is they said that his shit is Trump's executive order is unconstitutional, man. Okay, because that birthright citizenship is tied to the Constitution. You know, where it doesn't matter, you know, where you're from. You know, if you were born, all right, on United States soil, you know, you are a United States citizen, man. You know, and that shit go back to Rome, you know, because Rome was allowing all them different nations that they conquered, or enslaved. They made them they didn't have to be slaves because all you have to do was be part of the Roman Empire, you know, and you just expanded Rome's borders. It's the same shit America do. You know, if you submit yourself to America, they'll make you a U.S. territory. You know, they'll really go out there and cut for you. They'll bring some military bases over there. You know, but you have to change your politics and shit. You know, but that's the Babylonian way. To welcome in everybody. Give them papers, make them a mental slave. Shit, we don't give a fuck, you know. So half of that immigration shit really be a bunch of BS, man. It's just a way to target Jake, cause really, Babylon is a big ass melting pot, man. They want all these people here, spitting all their different bullshit, all they Jesus Christo bullshit, all right, or whatever wicked thought, all right, they got in their damn mind, man. You know, they want them to fill up the algorithm with confusion. All right, so they really don't give a shit about none of that shit, man. The border and all. Come on, man. You gotta be a damn dummy to believe that shit. But these are the same Edomites, they're always talking about 1776, and the Constitution and all this shit. All right, but when it comes to any Israelite using that so-called Constitution, Esau got something to say about the shit, man. Will show you that he's just a damn devil. You know, that's all he is a devil, and he has a perpetual hatred. All right, for Jacob. All right, he can't resist. All right, even when he say he set up these certain laws and statutes that he gonna go by, that he gonna sign with, in a room full of men with wigs on, because that's what Esau aspired to. Yeah, our founding fathers and all this shit. You know, but now that don't mean shit. Because it got to do with Jake. You know. But this Isaiah chapter 19 and verse 4, and the Egyptians will I give over into the hand of a cruel Lord, and a fierce king shall rule over them, saith the Lord Yahweh of hosts, man. You know? So, we have that cruel Lord here in Babylon, man. He don't give a damn, man. And he's about self-interest too. You know? That nigga that pocketed so much money, since becoming president for the second time, it is unbelievable. Billions of dollars. All right, which that ain't nothing but that's the elite, man. Playing they fucking game and shit. You know, have a nigga believing that he gonna really cash out. After after his service and shit. You know, Donald T believe he gonna really be able to cash out. Nah, man. No, no, no. Amalek ain't letting you off the hook, nigga. All right, they got too much dirt on you. This Proverbs chapter 29 verse 2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, but when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn. Okay, so scriptures say when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, but when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn. All right, and what state are the people in right now, man? They're in a state of complete mourning, man. They're mourning the gas prices. They're mourning being laid off. All right, they're mourning their mortgage. All right, rent prices, grocery prices. Okay, so they in a perpetual state of mourning, man. All right, so that means the wicked is in rulership. Okay, well you can't go to the store and get some fruit with seeds in it, without paying triple the price. Hey man, that's that's wickedness, man. So Esau's system is going down. All right, and of course E is mad. You know, E is mad at trying to oppress Israel as much as he can, all right, on his way out the door, man. All right, as the scriptures say, he gonna have a great wrath, man, because he know it better have but a short time. So you Jakes out there that's bobbleheading, you lost in this rat race of America. Esau about to eat your ass up, man. You know, But that's all I got, and I pray this lesson is edifying. Shalom. This lesson is edifying and shalom.